how much weight were y'all moving in the 70s before we get into the crack era? And just, is it
We
fair
never
to say,
so you keep saying before the crack era, we was never involved with crack.
never involved in
Never.
crack? So, heroin, cocaine.
Yeah.
I have to tell the truth.
How much were we moving and
Hold
how
your
much
thought.
money? Go ahead.
Hold your thought. We were never in the crack era, but me, you know how they say curiosity killed the cat? I sold crack one day and went to jail. Because I had no business selling crack. I went against the grain, the family's grain. I went against the grain and I went to jail.
So, and just to bring it into the context of the question, right? That question can only be answered from our indictment, right? Because
Okay.
that's public information,
Okay.
right? So we was charged with 3,000 keys of coke and 200 keys of heroin every
Did
6
all
months.
three of y'all have the same charges?
We all
Yeah.
were charged,
Okay.
conspiracy.
Okay.
So, and we'll talk about that later as we get into, different laws and what conspiracy is, so people will know what to look out for. But so in that indictment, we was charged with 3,000 keys of coke, 200 keys of heroin every 6 months. And they said that went on for years.
That's what they say.
Okay, what do you say?
We say that's what
They
they
say.
say.
Okay, according to what they say, how much money is that every 6 months? According to what they say.
According to what they say, oh man, they would say that was $50 million every 6 months.
Yeah,
That's what they would say.
and their statement was after everyone all got paid, like we might have settled down with ourselves like 750,000. No, 750 million, pardon me.
Yeah, they make up numbers. So,
Yeah.
and we made a joke, like we did so we're motivational, inspirational speakers, right? And so we had this this engagement in Dallas, Texas, and it was to the Billionaires Club, right? And we were talking to them, and showing the resemblance, and we was talking about them, and their structure, president, vice president, you had executive director, you had secretaries, you had treasurers, you had accountants, and you had different things. And so we showed our structure, except we just used military from generals to captains to lieutenants. And then when we got down to the accountants, we said, yeah, we had accountants too. They just happened to be the federal government. and they make up their own numbers. But once upon a time, yeah, we was rich once upon a time. If people want to say, yeah, once upon a time we was millionaires. Yeah. Once upon a time we owned 17 pieces of prime real estate, commercial and residential. We did whatever we wanted to, whenever we wanted to. If we wanted to wake up one day and fly to Miami just to buy some weed and come back, that's what we did.
Or if we woke up one day and wanted to take 40 people to the Holyfield and Riddick Bowe fight, that's what we did.
It was actually 62 people.
My bad.
So, but that was, different times. It was worth it. If you had to analyze, as Todd just said, certain cats will go, yo, man, I'll put my neck on the line for 15 years of my life. If I could make $5-6 million and I had to do 15 years, I can do it. It's not that type of money in the streets no more. Never ever will it be there like that again. So it was different times, different eras. And we took different we made different choices and we took different chances. And that's why I mentioned earlier that we made our choices knowingly and willingly.
Yeah, and even saying that, right? Even on today, we are so mindful that the lives got destroyed from the usage of a drug. Whether it was using it personally or selling it. A lot of people, families, and so on got destroyed. Communities, villages got tore apart because the head of the village was addicted to something other than his family, which was his true calling, being a God-given father. He was addicted to a controlled substance. So he was in the right frame of mind. So if he's not in the right frame of mind, how could he pour any substance into his child, be it male or female? He can't, because his mind is elsewhere.
So everybody, wants to be respected. Everybody wants to feel, that I am somebody. And individually, everybody's important.
Yes.
And everybody has their own individuality, and they are somebody. Just unfortunately, you ain't the somebody you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens, in life. And so, just to bring a full circle, part of this, whole interview is just to motivate, educate, uplift, and inspire our future leaders to be all they can be, despite the elements that continuously surround them. Because that's the same shit we came up in. It's just different. It's different levels now. You know what I'm saying? But we not going to put a battery pack in somebody's back and say, yo, you could do that. Go do that. Nah, we put a battery pack in your back. We saying, yo, you can be the best positive role model you can be, right? You could be the best entrepreneur, not street entrepreneur. It was told to us that, the type of business that we were in, the type of business that we ran, we could have easily ran a Fortune 500. And it's facts. And so one thing about us, right, we're not braggadocious, nothing like that. We're humbled, we're low-keyed, we're modest, right? But we grew up on, this Western that used to come on. It was called The Guns of Will Sonic. And it was about this old man. He was the fastest gun in the West. And, cats used to come out and challenge him, young cats, whatever. And when they see him, they used to look at him and go, this old man, he's the fastest gun in the world. And he had one saying he used to say, it's no brags, just facts. And that's how it is with us. It's no brags, it's just facts.
Exactly.
So can I ask y'all this? According to the feds, according to the prosecutors, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. According to you guys, you're feeding upwards of 500 families, not individuals, families. But that amount of influence, it will naturally breed envy, jealousy, and it will have people coming and trying to take your spot.
Certainly.
So can we talk without saying any, how bad did it get in terms of street wars, in terms of people trying to come and get your spot?
So ironically, right, it's, and it's hard to believe because we started off earlier with this interview letting you know how loved we were, right, and still are, right? Everybody ate with us. So you didn't have a chance to be envious or jealous because we gave you that chance. You know what I'm saying? If you came and said, yo, man, I want to eat too. All right, let's see what you made out of. And you get that chance. Now, if you, excuse my French, fuck that up, you did that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and let me just say this, because, sometimes I use language because I need the people to feel what we're saying, right? But don't get it misconstrued. We're both born-again Christians. We love the Lord. That's what we serve. But I'm just a little different, I use language sometimes because I need you to feel where I'm coming from, And so, of course, there was envious, there was jealousy, but it was mumbled. You know what I mean? It was mumbled. Because when you well loved, right? And I used to ask, like, when we go into schools and we're talking to kids, and I ask our scholars, I ask our participants, I said, let me ask you a question. Who has the most power? The one with the most money, the one that's feared, or the one that's loved? Who has the most power? The one that's loved has the most power. Because you could have the most money, and you could be talking to somebody that loves us, right? And you could be talking about wanting to do us dirty. And you got somebody that's going to play along just to get that bag from you and then do you dirty. Love overpowers everything. So, of course, there were people that were envious, and jealous, but we loved everybody. And we gave everybody a fair shake. And when you analyze yourself, and you sit back and you be sitting there and you be like, man, you mad, and you finding the reason to, amp yourself up and say, man, you jealous, you envious, like, why they this and why this and that? And then eventually you come back to yourself and say, well, damn, it gave me a chance to make millions of dollars and I fucked it up.
The organization grew. It was multi-state, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't the organization.
Okay, the Feurtado brothers
Yeah.
grew.
Yeah.
Within y'all's organization,
Mm-hmm.
it became multi-state.
I mean, the government would say 23 states.
Would the Feurtado brothers say different?
Somewhat.
Gotcha.